Welcome to Venusian Soul. Today I'm back with a timeless pick a card reading, and it's going to be wisdom from your higher self. So I want you to cast your gaze over the cards and ask your higher self which cards have a message for you. We have pile number 1, pile 2, pile 3, and pile 4. If you need to pause the video to meditate further, please do, but for those of you who are ready, let's get started. Hi Group 1. So the first message I'm getting is that there's an influx of change and blessings that are coming in for you because of the changes you've made in terms of your relationship with yourself. Because Spirit is making me feel as though for many of you, you're in a space where you've started pouring energy back into self. With how can you mother yourself, get grounded, empaths, highly sensitives, connect with nature, and Six of Pentacles. I'm hearing like there's been a shift in terms of how you perhaps perceive self-care or how you show up for yourself. I feel like for some of you, you may have had a history or, connections and relationships where they could have been very much focused on how other people feel, on what they need. Like I feel like you've reached a breakthrough or you've reached a point where you're really learning how to care for self, how to take care of your needs, how to prioritize yourself. Now, when I sat down, I kept hearing this song playing in my head. Normally, I don't receive a lot of songs when I kind of deliver messages, but I was hearing Don't Hold Your Breath by Nicole. I can't remember her last name. I think she was from the Pussycat Dolls. It's an older song, but I kept hearing the lyrics. What you did to me, I can't forget. If you think I'm coming back, don't hold your breath. And for some of you with the Six of Cups and the Five of Wands, I feel like there could have been someone or something that you're free from, is essentially what I'm feeling. With the Page of Cups, I'm hearing for some of you, you've reached a place of forgiveness that is setting you free and that is kind of turning these tides. For others of you, there could have been a karmic situation, a karmic relationship that really had a heavy impact and was keeping you stuck. And what I'm seeing is there's this sense of having kind of released yourself from that, or there's a level of, because I'm hearing the phrase like cathartic, something's cathartic, that there's been some sort of shedding process. Now, all of this is preparing you for a new world or a new life. Like for many of you, you're starting a brand new cycle, and that's why this transition and this process is so important. But I just feel it's like your emotional world, the way you view yourself, your emotions in general are healing and clearing. And for some of you, like this doesn't have to be the context of a karmic situation or a karmic romantic relationship, I should say. For some of you, this could be freeing yourself from a toxic or painful childhood. There's something that I feel affected the way you perceived yourself. There could have been beliefs you adopted, or perhaps you were in an environment or a childhood or certain relationships where you were treated in such a way that it made you feel as though either there was something wrong with you or there was something that warranted that sort of treatment or behavior. It's like you're unraveling yourself from the story of you. It's like you're rewriting the narrative, or there's something that you're seeing about yourself that you couldn't see clearly before. With the World and the Two of Wands here, you can see this person consulting their heart space. I feel like for many of you as well, it's like you're really putting your heart first, in the sense of putting your needs first. I feel like you're realizing that what makes you feel good, what serves your highest good is the path that you want to focus on. You're not, if you ever in the past gave a lot of energy to other people, their thoughts, their feelings, their perceptions, what they wanted you to do, how they felt, it's like that's what's shifting. It's like now it's about you. It's what's best for you. It's about your own healing. You're reprioritizing your values and what really matters. With Council of Light, Divine Orchestration, Helpers in the Subtle Realms, there has been a really strong spiritual transition or shift or upgrade. There's a leveling up, and I do feel like spirit, your spirit guides, your spiritual team have been supporting you with and in this process. With that Eight of Swords, there was something here that was keeping you bound. And it's like I just keep hearing you finally broke free. I can't remember if it was last week, I think it was, and I mentioned a song in one of the groups. I was talking about Break Free by Ariana Grande. And it's funny because now that song started playing. But I feel like for this group, there's that sense that there's been some sort of, it's like finally breaking free. That's why I feel for some of you, this could have been something that was, it could have been a long time ago. And also the songs I'm referencing are quite old, like they're definitely not recent. There's a sense that this person could have been from, say, years prior, but it left such an imprint on your psyche, your emotions, your sense of self, that you're still unraveling it. For some of you, it could have been stemming from childhood or from youth, from adolescence. There's a sense of something being present for quite some time. Yeah, but I think it may have also, for some of you, it may have affected what you believed you could receive, first of all, but what you believe that you deserved. It's almost like, do you know when we receive something or someone shows up and treats us in a way where, you know, it's less than ideal, we'll say, sometimes we internalize that and interpret it as, oh, well, maybe I'm not good enough, or maybe this is all I can get, or maybe like almost like that energy of settling. There's something here where it's like, I just heard you blew the roof off that glass ceiling. It's like you've broken through either an imposed limitation in terms of your own beliefs and what you felt you could receive, something maybe you were told in childhood that you could only have such and such, you could only amount to this. So you finally kind of release that or broken, I should say, or move past that. But for others of you as well, it's like what you were receiving back then or what you assumed was the best that you could get or receive. It's like now you're like, no, I know I can have more. I know I deserve more. There's very strong, you know, self-love, empowerment, not allowing anyone to, I just heard stifle you. For some of you, it could have been a situation or a person where it's like, I'm hearing you're reclaiming your voice. You can speak again. You feel empowered. You feel strong. The energies that perhaps they tried to impose upon you is what you're clearing. And this is all designed to bring you into this new cycle. It's like there were certain lessons you had to learn. For many of you, this energy was karmic, regardless of the context. For some of you, it could have been family. For others of you, friendships, romantic connections. For others of you, it was all of the above. There's a sense that in this lifetime, your soul is learning how to reclaim its power. How to, I just heard fight, but it's not fight. Well, maybe fight for yourself, like vouch for yourself, not in an aggressive way, but there's a sense of really being in your power, knowing your boundaries, knowing your worth, and giving back to self. Because I feel for this group, your energy is very pure, you're very loving, you're very kind, you have a lot I just heard spiritual light, but I meant to say inner resources. So there's a sense that you have a lot within you, but I think at times you tend to pour into others, which is beautiful in the sense that you are such kind souls, but at times it could have led you to like almost neglect yourself. There wasn't enough flowing back towards self. I also think the process you've gone through personally has turned you into a master healer, because Spirit is saying you can heal from anything. The process that you've gone through in terms of your spiritual growth, your healing, your awakening, your transformation, that wisdom, that energy, that information could be applied to others. Like it's almost like if you can do it, others can. And maybe for some of you, that's the process as well, that you don't have to necessarily be a guide or a healer, but for some of you, I do think you have that capacity. But it's almost like others who witness this, that helps set them free, or that helps to show them that there's a way out, there's another path. So for some of you as well, it's like you've had to become very, I just heard intimate with pain. You've had certain challenges and trials where you've really had to dig deep. You've really had to do that healing work. But again, I keep hearing forgiveness. It's like you reach that point. Do you know when you reach that point where, in that song I was referencing, you can't touch me now, there's no feeling left. For some of you, you've reached the bottom of that pain, of that emotion, of that sense of something having control over you. It's like you've broken away from those chains, from those emotions, from those limitations. And it's like Spirit is saying like you've graduated. There was something, it's like having finally passed that test, passed that lesson. You learned something and you've integrated it, which you're going to take into this new cycle, and things are going to start speeding up in the physical, especially for those of you who have felt that they've slowed down or things just weren't going to plan or going the way you'd hoped for. Spirit is saying you can have faith again. Things are speeding up. Your life is going to start moving forward. But I feel like there was some shadowy energies here that were still within you that had to be processed. So that's all I have for you. If you enjoyed this reading, please like and subscribe, and I will see you soon. Hi, Group 2. I want to label your reading truth, because I feel for this group, there's so many truths coming to light. I feel like you may be getting downloads. There's a truth or a validation you receive, which is something you've sensed for a long time. It's like, this is what I always felt was my path. This is what, my instincts told me I should do. And now I'm either seeing, the fruits of my labor, or now I'm seeing clearly why this was the right choice for me. There's some sort of new awareness that, is rising to the surface, or there's some sort of clarity that you're gaining in terms of your path moving forward. I have to say, for many of you, I do feel it's relative to your life purpose. With the Nine of Cups and the Ten of Pentacles, and we have abundance. The other thing that's very obvious is there's a lot of abundance that's coming in for you. But it's because of your actions, it's because of your choices and what you've chosen to focus on. With the Page of Swords, I always think of self-analysis, self-reflection, going within, gaining a new awareness. For some of you, it's because of a certain level of healing work that you've done. It's almost like you've gone through so many processes in terms of your growth, your healing, your evolution, that now you've emerged with this higher frequency and this greater clarity, and things really start to flow, for example. Or, you feel as though things are really unfolding in your favor. With Queen of Swords, you have the Queen of Swords and the King of Swords. And for me, both of them are truth tellers. Both of them have, a very sharp mind, a very strong air energy in this reading. It's like I keep getting like epiphanies, downloads, insights. For those of you where it's focused within, where it's like self-analysis, self-observation, it's like there's truths that perhaps you couldn't see about yourself, but now yourself, or your path, I should say. And it's like now you're getting that awakening, or now I just heard clairvoyance as well. You may be getting visions. There's a lot going on that mental level. There's, it's almost like Spirit is helping you in the sense of purging the old and healing the mind, but also giving clear and concise direction toward your future, being really straightforward in terms of what's next for you, what that looks like, what path to take. It's like, I just heard it's like when you can see like a couple of steps ahead on your path, and then finally Spirit reveals the big picture. That there's some sort of revelation in terms of what your Nine of Cups and Ten of Pentacles looks like for you. What direction to walk upon or in. With that Fool, for some of you, it could be a new path, or there could be new doorways for abundance and opportunity that are opening up for you. But again, we trust the niggle, and where are you being called to journey to? For some of you, you already sense this. So I don't think the whole path or the whole direction is brand new, but there's just that energy that, there's something unfolding, and it's like now Spirit has laid all its cards. Now Spirit has revealed the big picture. I think though the reason this is happening is your healing. It's like there's something that you've let go of, released, transmuted. There could have been like several levels of, ascension, growth, alchemy. And the more you kind of worked on yourself, the more you transmuted these energies, the more it opens you up to new beginnings, new frequencies. It just brought in a healthier, healing energy. With the Four of Swords as well, I'm hearing you may need to take time to, during this process or during the next kind of coming months, there may need to be time where, because I just heard balance, but it's resting the mind because you have a lot going on mentally. There's going to be a lot coming up in terms of healing, a lot of ideas. Communication for some of you may be really important as well. Perhaps some of these ideas or your life purpose involves communicating something or sharing certain ideas, sharing certain energies. So that's one factor. But I also feel like for some of you, there's a lot, I don't know why I'm getting such strongly like it's mental healing, or at least there's things coming up to release mentally. It's almost like you could have certain energies within your being, physically and emotionally, and there is an element of healing this, but they were beyond conscious awareness. It's like your subconscious now is filtering through to the conscious mind, and that's where these epiphanies and these insights and ideas are coming from. And I feel like the more you're open to that energy, or the more you're receptive to what wants to flow through and come through, it's like it can finally be released. Because for some of you, I feel like you've done a lot of healing work, especially emotionally. Like there could have been a phase in your journey where there was a lot of, I'm hearing, crying, grieving. It could have been coming more so from the heart space, but all of it may not have been completely conscious. Whereas now it's like there's certain insights you're now bringing together or piecing together, which are informing your path moving forward. Or there's certain truths about yourself that perhaps you couldn't see as clearly. Because it seems as though now you're like, oh, that's what it is. Or that's the path I need to move and direction I need to move in. That's what I need to focus my energies on. You're getting really clear in terms of where your energy needs to be. And again, this has been very much a spiritual process. I think spirit has helped you on this journey, but I also think it's an element of preparation, because I feel like the divine has been preparing you to step into this. With the Nine of Cups and the Ten of Pentacles, I feel for many of you, there's a big vision or a big dream. There's a lot that you can attain in the physical. In a heart-centered way, though, I don't feel this is just, oh, I just want to climb the corporate ladder and that's where my focus is. This is something, you may be climbing the corporate ladder, but it's coming from within. It's where your heart is. It's where your passions are. It's where the universe is directing you. So there's something that I feel spirit is bringing to conscious awareness or helping you. I just heard untangle or unravel. There's some sort of truths or epiphanies, and again, truth, illumination. There's some sort of awareness that helps you on this journey. But with the Queen of Swords, King of Swords, again, I feel for this group, you're highly intelligent, but you have a lot going on mentally. So learning to really harness that mind and bring that mind into balance is really important. And it helps kind of stabilize your energy, or just helps with, your progress moving forward. But I'm hearing as well, make sure you take time out to rest your mind, whether that be meditation, it could be some sort of physical movement, but I just feel that downtime is important as well. You may also really benefit from journaling or writing down all the energies, the ideas, the insights, because for some of you, I feel these epiphanies are relative to yourself, to your own healing journey, to your own spiritual ascension. And for others of you, I feel like they could be literal like plans in terms of business idea, certain actions you could undertake. For some of you, I just heard it's both. It's like first there are epiphanies around yourself and your being, and then it kind of shifts into guidance in terms of the physical world. This group has a lot of power. Not only, I heard power, but then I just heard talent. And I feel like Spirit is saying you guys are very talented, and don't ever doubt the amount you can contribute, what you can attain, because I feel for many of you, especially in terms of wealth, like this group, it's like you have the Midas touch, your ability to create. I just heard create abundance from thin air. So for some of you, you might be quite entrepreneurial, or you may have certain abilities that really help when it comes to mastering the 3D and mastering the physical, or at least you're stepping into that energy, because I just see so much, not only abundance, but success. Like for some of you, you have the potential to be at the top of your field, at the top of your career, an entrepreneur. Like you have that, not only King of Swords, Queen of Swords type energy, but I'm hearing like Emperor energy, very powerful. So that's all I have for you. If you enjoyed this reading, please like and subscribe, and I will see you soon. Hi, Group 3. So the message for this group is I'm hearing you're learning and mastering the art of when to kind of flow and surrender and release, and when to take action and push ahead. For many of you, I feel right now, Spirit is saying now's the time to flow. Now's the time to let go, to dive deep, to heal. There's something happening for you emotionally, or for many of you. I keep getting this sense of like deep diving, intense emotion, healing the heart chakra, essentially. For others of you, I'm hearing now's the time to receive and be open to love. Now, again, everyone has free will. You're all on different paths. If that doesn't even remotely interest you, then fair enough. Maybe this reading is not for you, because with the Knight of Cups, the Two of Cups, the Ten of Cups, there's a very strong message here around love. And again, love can be platonic. It can come in different forms, but there seems to be a balancing act between focusing on, with action and potential, your dreams, your goals, that drive, and that more kind of, masculine go-getter energy versus the feminine energy of, really flowing with your emotion, healing your heart space, being vulnerable and being able. And again, we need a balance of both, but I think this is what this group is being asked to master. It's like you're coming into a time where temporarily you may have to kind of flip more so into that divine feminine energy, just to balance out some of that divine masculine energy, because I feel again, for some of you, there's a very prominent love connection, or there's a prominent soulmate connection, whether platonic or otherwise, depending on what your desire is. But it's quite significant, and I feel if you were in the space of that divine masculine energy, number one, there's some emotion that has to heal around the heart space. For some of you, there could be a fear of vulnerability, because Spirit keeps bringing me back, because I'm hearing like it's time to take the swords and the defenses down. So for some of you, not all, but for some, where you feel like, yes, there is a little bit of pain around the heart space, there's still some fears or trepidation around opening up again. That could be a factor in this process. But I just feel overall, it's like Spirit is wanting you to really deep dive into the emotional body. We have take a break, a life's work, not a season, get off the treadmill. For some of you, again, you may be quite ambitious. You may have a lot of dreams and goals and desires, which is wonderful. But right now, the energies are more supportive of going within, of, more emotional, heart-centered work. And you also have that next to the moon and diving deep. And again, I keep seeing like the water element, the ocean. There's a sense of allowing yourself, and then we have flow here as well. For some of you as well, you're learning how to allow your emotions to flow from the heart chakra. For some of you, I do feel there could have been, I just heard barricades, but I meant to say like blocks, in the sense of you may not always feel comfortable diving into those waters, especially deep diving. Like sometimes we're comfortable with a little bit of emotion, but when it's that intensity and that really you know how you can have connections that literally reach your core, where they shake you to the core, the emotion, the love, the energy runs that deep. That's the type of energy I feel for some of you that's either in your life or coming toward you. In order to be able to sustain that energy, we have to be very much comfortable with that within our own being. So for many of you, it's like spirit is really initiating you or really getting you into that flow, into that process of really allowing yourself to feel deeply, but to feel safe while you feel deeply. And that's an important factor. With play, have fun, celebrate, don't be so serious. Again, spirit is wanting you to kind of, I don't know if for this group you have a very hectic schedule. You may kind of be, some of you may be workaholics or just love what you do. So you spend a lot of time and energy on your career, work, your pursuits. It could be on hobbies, but it's like spirit is saying, like, take that time to, you know, take a step back, go within and really, for some of you heal, but for others of you, it's giving your, I just heard giving your emotional body time to breathe, allowing it to come to the surface, because sometimes if we're moving too quickly, it's like we don't even have the time to really process what's going on emotionally or to really feel into certain emotions, certain energies. And it's like spirit is saying, like, now it's safe to really go within, feel some of these emotions, allow yourself to kind of, I heard just be. For some of you, there's been so much time spent on doing and action and not enough time on being. And I feel like you may be kind of, I just said coming back to yourself, but I feel like, again, there's a lot of emotion coming up here. With Judgment and the Moon, I do feel for some of you, there is some healing around the past, or there's making peace with something from the past, especially emotions that were still kind of lurking in the shadows, that perhaps you weren't fully conscious of, or that are now completely ready to be released. There's a time, it's almost like being in that phase or that time period where now you're ready to let go, or now you're completely ready to bring something to conscious awareness that perhaps previously you weren't fully aware of. With this Five of Swords as well, this can be, obviously, I'm reading it more as like loss, in the sense of fear of abandonment or the loss of a connection. For some of you, there could be some fears of being left, a connection ending. There could be a little bit of pain from a connection that ended previously, but there's some healing around the past, especially in the context of love and connection, that enables you to fully open your heart in the present, in whatever context or way feels right for you. But I feel, again, with the Two of Cups and the Ten of Cups, for this group, if you haven't already, or if you don't currently relate to having really beautiful connections around you or a really strong soulmate relationship, and that's something that you are genuinely wanting and seeking to manifest, I feel like this process is helping you attain that. And with potential, I feel like for this group, like in terms of I just heard you've already mastered the physical well, like in terms of your potential, in terms of making things happen. And could be also in terms of like attracting success and, you know, whether that be building a business, building a career, like you're very talented. You have that, I'm hearing you have that down pat, like you already know how to do that. But there's a sense of getting really comfortable when it comes to emotion, when it comes to really feeling, diving deep, allowing certain energies to come to the surface. And I feel like spirit is kind of helping you with this energy, with this process. But it's like after this transformation or after this transmutation, the emotions from the past can no longer touch you. It's almost as though if they were having a bearing on your life, at least subconsciously, because I'm hearing for some of you, you may have been a little bit guarded, or you may have felt like your heart was, I just heard you may have felt like your heart was turning cold, or that flow of emotion, there was a block around your emotional body or your ability to fully feel. I don't think it was completely blocked, but there was a sense of maybe not being completely comfortable in those emotional depths, especially when triggered by someone, by a catalyst. And it's like spirit is helping you really open up to that flow of emotion, to that energy. And again, I feel all of this process is there and designed to, number one, improve your relationships. But for some of you, I feel like it's bringing, this could be a new or newer energy with the Two of Cups and Ten of Cups. And in order for it to really stabilize and ground in the physical, it's like your being has to be receptive. Your ability to connect with yourself this deeply and to have the Ten of Cups within your own being is important. But again, I feel like there is a lightening. If you felt like, oh, things have been heavy, things have been difficult, there is a lightening of your path as well. Like, I do feel if you've had a lot on your plate, like you could have just had a lot of stress from work or career or business. There could have just been a lot of responsibility. It's like Spirit is wanting you to have that downtime, that sense of play and enjoyment and fun to kind of get back to you. I also think this next cycle and phase in your life, there's going to be more time for self-expression, for connection. It's going to be more balanced is what I'm hearing. You still will have obviously time and energy to pursue your passions, your potential, but there's going to be perhaps there's a greater energy of sharing your time, your energy, your abundance, whatever you've created with others, or at least deepening that connection with others. So that's all I have for you. If you enjoyed this reading, please like and subscribe, and I will see you soon. Hi, Group 4. So the message I'm hearing is, first off, as a soul, I feel like this group, you're so evolved. You have so much wisdom, so much power. I feel like you've had a lot of incarnations where you've had more of a spiritual or healing path and calling, or you've just been able and had enough time to be able to tap into certain spiritual gifts, communicate with spirit, like you're very, very evolved. But I feel what I'm hearing is, for some of you, you've had to leave a lot behind. Like, I feel like you've gone through so many cycles perhaps of ascension, growth, transformation, but there could have been some painful endings in your life. We have answer the call. What is your soul calling you to do? I feel like with this group, you're someone, like, if your soul is saying, no, like, this isn't for you, it's time to move on, it's time to let go, even if your heart is like pulling at you, or even if you feel that it's going to be difficult to let go and you're not sure you want to do so, I feel like you will still do it. Like, you always follow the guidance of your soul, essentially, irrespective of what other people say, what society thinks, what your family tells you. It's almost like there's that call. The calling within you is so strong that you can't ignore it, because I feel like for this group, you're more connected to your soul than you've ever been to the physical, which is a beautiful thing. But I feel like with the Eight of Cups and the Five of Cups, there may have been some painful endings, or you've had to leave behind a lot of the, maybe not a lot of, but many of the people, the things, the situations where, you may have loved them, or you may have had emotion and energy toward them, but you knew they couldn't come with you, or you were shown spiritually and psychically that you needed to make a clean break. And I'm hearing Spirit is acknowledging the sacrifices you have made in the physical, and this could have been in the form of like money, because I feel like your spiritual growth took priority over everything else. It could have been sacrifices of money, emotional sacrifices in terms of connections, having to leave people behind because you kept leveling up, or you kept outgrowing certain situations. You always follow the light, and I feel when you sense that your soul is no longer in it, you move on. But again, I feel like there's a lot of cups you've left in your past, or there's a lot of energy that you had to kind of say goodbye to. And for some of you, it may have been a difficult choice, especially when, there is that bond, or there is that sense of love or connection. You have Keepers of the Earth. You are not alone. Ancient ancestors stand beside you. Sometimes I feel like your connection to your spirit guides, the higher realms, is actually stronger than your connection to, human beings or the physical beings. Like, there's something around your energy. You're so otherworldly and so ethereal. It's almost like, I don't know, when Spirit is showing me you, like I'm not being shown a human. I'm being shown just like pure spirit, pure soul, and they're referencing you in that light, I think, because that's how you live. You don't live as a human being. I think you're so dedicated to your spiritual growth and your illumination, your advancement, that you may not always be able to understand like people's, I don't want to say not understand people's struggles, but because you come from such a higher vantage point, because you can see, it's like they're showing you like a wise owl, because you can see all the facets and all the factors. It's like you don't get sucked into like the earthly dramas or I heard trivial things like the material, the physical, things that just don't hold as much weight to you. Now with the sun, you're here to be a light. You're 100% a light worker. You're here to guide others. There's something around your energy and your light that it's like it's captivating, and it is, I'm hearing you heal just by being you. Now, again, you may literally work as a healer. You could, I think for this group, you would excel at anything where you can share your wisdom, whether that be in the fields of philosophy, psychology, being great writers, inventors, healers. I just heard like a prophet, but I don't know, someone that inspires others. Poetry as well is what I just heard. And an artist. But there's a sense that anything where you can funnel your energy into it, whether it's through words, painting, healing sessions, any form of self-expression, I do feel it's really healing and cathartic for others. I also feel with this group, there may have been like, from a financial perspective or a worldly perspective, there could have been like not as much flow, or there just may have not been as much of an emphasis on the physical. But I think you're coming into a time where you're learning and really mastering the ability of funneling your energy and bringing something to form. It's like making your wisdom, your insights, your soul, your passions into, a stream of income or multiple streams of income for some of you. It's like you're learning how to make that energy tangible. With big picture thinking, I think most of you are starseeds. We have really strong Pleiadian energy, visionary, inspired ideas. Spirit is working with you to deliver ideas that are going to be, that bring love to the physical. Whether that's literally working one-on-one, healing others, and that provides a sense of love or connection through the work you do. It could be the creation of a project and you channel that love and that energy into that project. So when people are witnessing it or connecting with it, they're able to sense that energy. But it's like you're really learning. It's like you've mastered the spiritual, your ascension, your growth process. Now it's bringing it to form. I do feel there's a sense here that your finances are going to really start to improve and flow in this new cycle, provided you act on your intuition and you follow Spirit's direction. Because with this Ace of Pentacles, for many of you, I feel like you're starting something new. For others of you, it could be that you've already kind of set this in motion. But I feel like you're reaching a point where it's like, okay, it's time to bring this to form, or it's time to really utilize my gifts in a way that are tangible, where I can share them with others, or where I can help others to grow and evolve and ascend. And it's like Spirit is saying you're ready now. Yeah, look at the light body here. That's your energy, where it's like you're not even, Spirit is saying you're not even physical anymore. Like your vibration and your frequency is so high, it's almost like you don't even live in the physical body. You don't live in a physical form. And it's like Spirit keeps showing me you kind of flying above everything or floating above. The way you move, or gliding is what I just heard as well. It's like you're so, your energy is so light. It's almost like people could almost miss it. Like it's just so, I don't know how to explain it. I've never been shown anything like this in a reading before, but it's like you kind of float above like the density, and I'm not saying that in the sense of spiritual bypass. I feel for this group, you've already worked through a lot of emotions and energies, but because you've done that, it's like you've just kept ascending to a level where it's like I just feel like everything flows to you and through you. And Spirit is saying the more you keep following your soul, the more you keep acting on your guidance, especially as it pertains to the 3D. Could be certain goals, dreams, a business pursuit, different forms of abundance. I'm feeling the more you do so, the more you're going to see the benefit and the fruits of your labor. But I feel like you'll be attracting in as well people who I'm hearing them more on your level that relate to you in a very loving way. With the King of Cups, the Ace of Cups, there's that energy of joy, unconditional love, just being existing on those higher realms. Essentially, I feel like in the past for this group, it's like your light is so bright and intense. Like people may have either been a little bit scared that they'd get burnt, or being around you, it's like you have to transform. You can't embody some of these older energies and be in your presence. And I think that's why perhaps certain people, situations had to leave your path. But there's just this sense that your light has grown so strong and you have mastered the art of shining that light even when there was no one around you. Perhaps for some of you, very little income, not much happening in the physical. Could have been, painful situations or darkness, people that perhaps tried to throw stones at that light. You still could anchor in that frequency. And it's like now you're ready to be that light. I keep hearing and seeing a lighthouse. It's like your soul mission involves pouring that light. Number one, it could be into a project or into a business, and people are attracted and then drawn to that. But also it's like you just radiate, and they're saying you're so strong. You just hold that frequency and that light, and it's like nothing can shake you. And that could be why as well they keep showing me like you flying above, because I just heard you're untouchable, in the sense that even if someone were to try and project negativity, it's like your energy and your radiance is so great that it's almost like it would just bounce back off. And that was the journey that you've been on. And Spirit is saying that was a preparation. So if you have felt like things were very difficult, or, why have I gone through so many challenges, struggles? Why aren't things flowing in the physical? This was the place they were bringing you to. So that's all I have for you. If you enjoyed this reading, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you soon.